I think, first of all, I feel much more uncertain about what the future holds, in particular because we've been adding more and more layers of complexity. And it's not helping the industry address, when it needs to make decisions, address how to go about, for example, investment for the future, or some of the opportunities in terms of diversification, when the timings for those investments become potentially impacted by the uncertainty that we see. So I would have to say I'm probably a little bit less optimistic. But with that said, I think the industry is very resilient, and it will find a way through not just this, but how to ensure that we're actually laying out the basis for future growth and development in the continent. I think regulatory environment certainly has conditioned a lot of how the industry operates. I think it's, for the most part, well-intended on creating opportunities for the industry to level playing field, and certainly where it goes longer term. But ultimately, the regulatory environment needs to, I think, be a lot simpler, a lot more predictable, so that the industry can adjust and adapt as it's needed. But certainly regulation has increased the complexity of where the industry operates, and from that perspective it has created new challenges that we have to adapt to. With that said, in the end, ultimately the industry, I think, will be able to adapt, but hopefully it won't have to increase the cost of compliance, because that will ultimately reduce the competitiveness of the industry, not just in Europe, but on a global level. I think if I had one wish, was better availability of raw material, fiber raw material. It is a constrained resource that we're dealing with. Certainly we're having to import significant amounts of fiber in order to operate effectively and to ensure that we are utilizing as much of our capacity as we can. I think the industry can and should continue to develop novel ways of improving productivity, but at the same time of creating a very sustainable level of raw material supply that would help it keep at par with some of the other global regions, which today can be extremely competitive on that front. I would be skeptical if a reverse happens very quickly. So even if the war ends, I think the last few years certainly have brought some caution in terms of how the industry looks at regaining a position in Russia. So ultimately, it's something that I think will take some time before it materializes, if it materializes in the medium term. Ultimately, tariffs, we don't believe are a good thing in any aspect that you may consider. Tariffs generally condition the free flow of products and certainly of, to a certain extent, services or value-added services. So we don't think it's a good thing. It will certainly condition, but with that said, we have to think of Europe as a very large market. We have a significant demand, sustainable demand level in Europe, and therefore Europe will adapt to higher tariffs. So hopefully we won't have to get to a point where those conditions ultimately start impacting demand, but I think we have to at least be prepared and expect that some level of condition will nevertheless take place, and we should focus on the needs of Europe, And as I said, it's a very significant market, and I think the industry has a lot of opportunities to take advantage of it.